Yeah, like Sova's so controversial because when I cast with Wyatt, he's a huge hater. And you're like a huge Sova lover. So all depends on, you know, you get the information, but then you can't just explode into the site with like a breach like Nismo will be able to provide. So
yeah.
On defense,
so your race is going to do that, right?
Yeah, right. Right. You got two duelists, so if one gets trapped by the vice wall, there's always another. But this also was a Winthrop University that started off 11-3 against Cubert Academy on Cubert's map picks. So see how Lotus will go. And Cubert Academy on their offense, they really like to work the map. Smokes up, they pivot. And, well, Bumps wanted to see a more aggressive tens on the Neon, and he slips right by, and they get hit by a Paranoia, though, from Player. And Cubert are going, they're trying to join the other team. They're going to the defensive spawn and not coming out with any kills. So Cubert will just have to play this from front to back, 3v5. And this is going to be 5v nobody with Winthrop taking the pistol.
That was just a nice little play by Winthrop University to adapt on Cubert's Academy's hit. The smoke went back towards the defender spawn, right towards the, well, where those pings are, between those two pings that you're seeing on the minimap right now. But the big flash that came from Flare on a top B heaven right into that corridor of Waterfall just allowed the three players to pivot right in this moment right here to catch players off guard, push players through the spawn, and not give a chance here for Cubert Academy to go for that seaside split that I don't think I've ever seen in a piston round before. And that was a nice, again, answer back from Winthrop University off the fly. And a great start as they're going with full stingers, and should be an easy round because Cubert didn't go for a plant, so they can't go for a stinger by themselves.
Yeah, so much suppression from Winthrop when you got the raise nades, infiltrators, whole kit, shock bolts, and already getting an early win in A lobby. They get the opener on C. Cubert haven't had a first blood in their favor yet. They can't even get the spike down. This was as I swear I was watching it. An infiltrator watches the bodies fall as he walks away with a 4K.
Yeah, I think that was another big assist coming out from Flare with the Paranoia. That fully blinded the plant spiker and didn't even get the spike down. And that's 2 rounds by elimination by Winthrop University. No extra credits being built up by Cubert Academy. So you're going into this round with probably not the strongest of buys. If you're looking at it, you saw half shields, small shields, just to try to get max utility available here for Cubert Academy. And if there's anybody like Infiltrator that wants to start bringing out the Outlaw within this round, it could be quite detrimental. But Guardian instead with the stinger buy that they had on that second round. But they still have a 4-player stack towards the A site, and Cubert's walking right into it.
Don't tempt him with a good time, and Allie won't be here for a long time either. Just walking past the smoke. Man, I love that fire out of Cubert. Finally picking up the pace. Nasi will walk away with 2, silencing Cubert. And what looked like a relentless run on this offense. But now the threat is coming from stairs. That's where they last saw Winthrop escape. So Cubert, the suppressing fire is there as they watch to see if Winthrop will repeat. As the dust settles, Cubert will have to make do without T-Dog and 10s, which are going to be pretty important. Pivot into B. I love this read. Out of moves with a stinger. And he just gets flashed and won't be able to do much.
Beautiful flash coming out from Nismo for that assist too. And I like the stop and go from Cubert, just to stay back, making sure that the players cannot upgrade into weapons, into rifles that were left behind here by T-Dog and 10s. And even it's being watched still by Nismo here. And that's the idea from Nasi. Trying to upgrade into a Vandal and just keep it.
A search and rescue, or maybe an Easter egg hunt where you can find a gun, but solid round out of Cubert.
Yeah, he's got the Vandal behind him, but he doesn't want to pick it up yet because it will make the audio sound of him dropping the weapon. So he's just trying to wait the time, and waiting enough, seeing that nobody was pushing out, decides to walk out, and finally Nismo finds the better timing here, and it's a clean round and some nice dancing coming out from 10s in the A side control. Right for the fight inside the smoke was beautiful to watch.
Just getting that first blood, walking through the smoke, not kind of shying away once there's so much obstruction like this. And Cubert to just hit the pedal to the metal, realizing kind of that slower approach from Haven, which may be more suitable for that map. Trying to change up their style here. Talked about it between maps. Same Winthrop pressure at this A lobby. Or Redux can leave a wall behind. try to pull as much attention towards him as possible, but Winthrop aren't going to go for a flank. If anything, Winthrop are trying to catch up to leaving the left side of the map really open.
The fake TP2 for him to activate the first cage. But because of this wall being set up and already Redux given up this area, this has to be like another stop and go back into the C site. And the fact that they've already used the one-way cage and already that second smoke, that's probably going to be a 14-second hit for Cubert Academy to fight into C control.
And just with vision from Flare into B, they know this door opening is probably fake. And Infiltrator would be in a position to counter if that were to be the case. So Cubert march on. They deal with moves in the corner. And Nasi gets caught a bit, but he escapes at the back. Waterfall, Flare emerges. He's alone. Nasi's smoked off. And Cubert just dispatched one problem at a time. But still, we can't give up on Winthrop. They just know how to strike back when the odds are against them. But Cubert closes it out. Beautiful round out of Redux.
Yeah, clean shots coming out from Redux too, leveraging Tenz's wall or even Infiltrator's wall to go back towards the outside of the C mountain and fight two individual 1v1s at that spot. But if anything, everything started quite well for Cubert Academy from the very get-go, breaking that util across from moves and running that util down. There was absolutely nothing left there for Cubert Academy to hold into the defense because they've already used their flashes, their smokes. And Cubert just wins off gun battles. And that finally breaks the econ on the side of Winthrop University, with the exception of Infiltrator going for a hero rifle because he could overdrive into the next round with Winthrop University's buy. So I like this coming out of them.
Yeah, same reaction, 5 HP too.
Exactly. Flare hit him for 145, which would have given a chance for that trade to happen. But then, unfortunately, the window closed. Infiltrator couldn't capitalize on that kill onto Tenz. And that gives a chance here for Winthrop University, or rather for Cubert Academy, to really just work the map and maximize the orbs.
And threw away from the Rolling Thunder, which is just going to be the most critical ultimate for Cubert. This Infiltrator will be at the back with that Hero Vandal, and if he wants to keep it, better be careful. His moves won't be able to help him unless he pushes past the smoke, and he does, but the paranoia from Cubert may have caught moves and puts him in a very awkward spot. With Infiltrator going 1-for-1, not bad. Nasi with the Sheriff, a hope and a dream, and nothing as Cubert carry 4 more rifles into the next round.
Yeah, you just wish he had another player with him, or at least better weapons, because that recon dart actually pinged all 4 players. So far, Nasi getting good value off recons on the C site holds, but they just need the weapons and maybe some sort of way to work out a better defense here on their C site, just because of the fact that their Cubert Academy are entering the C site quite easily, and Moobs is having a hard time just really trying to anchor that spot up. Especially now when you're looking at it, he's using his trips on B and A so that both Infiltrator and Nasi can work together to try to pinch towards the C side with the overdrive.
Ooh, Infiltrator heating up, and the ping through the wall, the overdrive! Oh, just takes care of most of Cubert. But wait a minute. What is going on? Flare is cooking. He's lighting up too. That's been snuffed out. And with Winthrop just sizzling in this round, you thought that Cubert, this is just going to be a quick round. We're actually in a 2 versus 2. Oh, a Steel Garden. Okay, we're trying to chase whoever this is. Nasi just trying to get away. And a Nightfall infested too. And just one darn classic could have ended all of Cubert's hopes in this round. Now just a 1v1, T-Dog versus Moves, spike in hand. Now it's a mind game.
Moves will have all the information now. Trip and camera. We'll know the re-hits going towards that B site.
Where are you?
Okay. Both players exchanging util to try and find each other. But this trip is going to deny T-Dog from getting into A at least. Now Moobs knows there's nothing left. Wrapping around through stairs. Prowler's shot. T-Dog knows he's close. Trying to play the clock. Play his life. The re-swing! Moobs wasn't ready. Clutch for T-Dog.
It looks so good for Winthrop University to kick things off on a C site. The Hunter's Fury, the stun that came through, the recon that got so much value. And again, that's why I'm a Silva lover. Nasi getting maximum value off of that ping. Look at that, 4 players getting pinged once again. Combining now the overdrive with the Hunter's Fury, but Redux steps up to the plate one more time, opens up that site with those kills, retaliating back towards that spawn, has a Steel Garden to work with, and gives a chance here with a double ult from both T-Dog and Redux to win that 2 versus 2.
I thought that overdrive was just gonna flawless. I mean, Infiltrator doesn't need an overdrive to sweep through Cubert. Now you got a showstopper too? Infiltrator, let him cook. Oh my god, Ali's involved too. Cubert just tried to brawl through Rubble and just lost. That's all she wrote. Redux says goodbye, and Winthrop try to catch up.
That was nice by Infiltrator, all that solo play towards the A site. So he came back from the replay. It's instant chaos right away. And now finally we get into the bread and butter that what I was trying to talk about with the Silva. Recon, Odin, play that towards the A site. And that can really melt down the type of aggressive A site hits you're going to try to take with this Neon. Because the wall that gets pulled up could be an instant tell of that the Neon's moving towards that side, and you could just get melted by it. And Cubert Academy chooses correctly, at least to start towards that C site, because they have been getting good value in breaking the util and leveraging the C site takes and map control at the very beginning.
Cubert are trying to pick up the pace for C, knowing Winthrop have been sending 3 or maybe even 4 to the Rebel side, and Cubert want to hit the site while it's weak, while it's open.
Ow.
And Moves says open who? We're closed for the day. Picks up 1, Neural theft out, Winthrop are on the way, and it's Cubert that are floundering against the Winthrop that look really established. A 2 versus 2. 10's gone, up to Redux, who's out of sight, out of mind. Now pinged by the drone. Nazi will spam through the wall with an Odin. And Redux takes a bit of damage. At least has the smoke still up to isolate, but Flex is isolated. Who? He helps pinch through.
Yeah, especially the Recon landing him towards that ground. Such nasty util coming out here from Nasi. And it looks so well to kick things off there, to start things off for Cubert towards that C site. Good picks, good openers, moves somehow fully stunned, gets a kill with the Phantom, and then pulls out the Neural Theft to allow Winthrop University to get so much information within that round. So you think about how many kills they've gotten thanks to utility, both from Moobs and Nasi, was huge there for Winthrop University. And that forces a timeout, the first one here of this map. This time for Cubert Academy, because it seems as though this quick flank coming through on their actual site execs on the C site is starting to get starting to be a thorn on their side to deal with. Because if you're looking at it towards the end, Moops is just trying to delay as much as possible. And he's not even playing soft side. He's just trying to get his 1 and trying to delay enough so that the fast rotate from Infiltrator and a double duelist rotate coming out with Ali could be good enough here to just backstab Cubert Academy so far.
That Neural Theft was huge too. I find these last members. Cubert maybe chatting about how they're going to leverage this overdrive. And if they're expecting a lot of pushback from Winthrop and Rubble, that could be a place to kick things off. But if Winthrop decide to play more of a distance battle, Cubert may not have the best. They got Guardian, they got some Vandals, wouldn't be too bad. So Winthrop aren't going to full commit to that Rubble side. If anything, they could be walking down mid.
But it did damage though.
To suppress them.
The early spray coming out now from the Odin from Nasi did some heavy damage onto Knights, which allows now the double push to come in from front B.
Yeah, and at the front of B is Ali. Also still has a nade. He wanted to try and escape, but he doesn't want to escape. He's bringing the party right to Cubert. 2 duelists in your face with a paranoia in place for Flare. Just waiting for the call.
There.
Cubert on the approach. Do they know they're about to walk into a trap? Nismo has some util of his own, tries to flash, and Winthrop fire back. They got nades. Cubert have an overdrive, and it's a bloodbath, and Cubert aren't making any headway. Ali's just too clean. A 3K. The duelists from Winthrop reign supreme.
And a flawless round for Winthrop on top of that. The counter utils from both teams were actually quite nice, and I don't think Cubert Academy was expecting a Paranoia to come through from the B site or all the way towards that front. Nismo's flash, it was supposed to be a play where or Infiltrator or Ali gets spotted, and then they throw the Paranoia and start rushing through, but instead it was engaged with a flash from Nismo right here. And now with that coming through, it just allowed for the players to just do a quick 180, bait and switch, and look at the picks coming out right after there from Winthrop University. Just so clean. Season 8 also wasn't good enough there for Cubert Academy to push out the B-side defense.
Hey. Winthrop again, Rubble control, but quick to ditch the scene of the crime. Oh, I like that Redux is gonna try something new and actually push through Rubble solo. We'll have this 1v1 against Ali. He's gone. Now Cubert could try to chase us down for the trade. Ali's very injured, 20 HP, but there's support from Nasi still with an Odin. Loud and proud, and even a drone. Such good information, a good position for Winthrop too. Cubert are just gonna walk right into the line of sight of Nasi. There's no way. Ten's a victim too.
You got two guys swinging with a stinger, trying to go, blah, 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 but then Nasi has the big blah gun. It just mows them down. That was just too easy of a round there for Nasi, the IGL. And now with the University, despite the timeout that came through by Cubert to try to work things out and try to get rounds back on their side, it's been fully shut down by some great defensive holds by Winthrop University. This a little bit easy because you have the range distance advantage from Nasi's Odin versus these Stingers, but that previous round, once again, on that triple hold from those players was so nice. And back into this round, already into the action. Look how Cubert Academy is already moving here into aggressive B control, trying to push some players away. But now it feels as though you're not going to try to fully commit into a C site. You're just trying to force these rotates to happen, and you have now finally players staying back towards that spawn and trying to watch these pushes.
When you have open vision like this, just hoping for the defense to peek, kill the trip to see if is that going to get the attention. It just reestablishes the smoke, but that's one less thing to worry about. Draw out as much Winthrop util as you can, because that's the game plan. Cubert still have the spike behind, and Winthrop aren't taking advantage of any open space. If anything, Infiltrator about to head first into Cubert, but there's a Nightfall breach util. There's only a defending Hunter's Fury that keeps Infiltrator safe from the swarm of bees that is Cubert.
Look at the HP after the Hunter's Fury. They're so low.
Another Odin travesty, but this time Cubert have a response, but there's only one person left
30 seconds
to take
left.
the test, and it's Knights in a 1 versus 3. At least he's got the spike. There's still a lot for him to clear by himself.
Exactly, and with a Cameron trip still up towards the C site, I mean, this should be an easy rotate after a plant for Cubert Academy. Unless they fumble the bag and are not coordinated on the retake, this should be an easy round now for Winthrop to take the lead 7-4.
Knights to get a surprise. He was expecting a walk down stairs, and Infiltrator is low. Depends how Ali and Infiltrator work together. Ali down, Infiltrator is going to swing solo. And that could have been deadly if Knights had stood there. Now moves an Infiltrator have synced back up, and the defuse is being held past the halfway point. And Knights! Oh my God, clutched. A fumble for Winthrop and Cubert benefit.
Feels like I'm speaking these caster curses into existence.
Yeah, you did.
Dude, everything was perfect. The Hunter's Fury from Nasi kills a player, pings 2 down to 45 HP. They still have 3 players on the B site. They know the plan is towards A. Yet, yes, I understand what was happening there. You're trying to jiggle for information. The other one's trying to watch back to see if Knight somehow TPing back towards Baby Door after the plant. But then that 2 versus 1 when Moves is moving forward. Get it at half, double swing, try to fight him. It's easy for you to get wall banged.
I heard there's a party. It's just on the other side of the map. Ali's on the flank. Cubert don't care. They're heading to the left.
Party's done.
On the party. Okay, Steel Garden He's gonna get both of Infiltrator, but I got finger guns. Steel Carbon won't affect these. And Cubert Academy on the other side of that smoke. Actually, Knight's teleported in or something. This is so staggered from Cubert. Messy rounds back to back from both teams. That ends the way of Winthrop all along, and they get to steal the op too.
Dude, that's just kind of sick. Winthrop University also noticing what are the strong points coming out from the Steel Garden, though. Yes, the Steel Garden comes out, but if you're playing a Jet, and you can play Jet Knives. If you're playing Infiltrator with a Neon, you can pull out the Overdrive. And he gets the perfect stun that doesn't allow players to move through the one-way cage that's popped up, isolates Nismo, and then it doesn't give a chance here for Cubert Academy to move into. Look at that. There's a cage, a smoke. What can they do here for Cubert Academy? After they're desperate, you're teaming across, you're still isolating 1v1s against a guy that has an Overdrive, just running across the map on C. And he's now 15-8, and also allowing Winthrop University to get another lead going into this half. This time a 7-5. A lot cleaner, at least this time for Cubert Academy, but maybe still not enough.
Winthrop are 3-0 on pistols, taking everyone so far. And Winthrop got caught in a bit of a fault line. Just Nismo got blinded and he couldn't capitalize. Wall up. He just heard the reload, heard the boom bot. How he's skipping across. That was fun. Meanwhile, Winthrop got an advantage going at C and a plant too.
And a huge numbers advantage of 4 versus 2. They can play within the site. They already have one person watching the flank.
A10 slow check against Infiltrator, and just staggering in solo isn't going to help. But Winthrop, so well coordinated and also so aggressive on their pistols that it's hard to kind of feel out what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's what you were mentioning when we got into this this match for the second map. Double Duelist is just going to be very aggressive, very quick. And we didn't expect for Winthrop University to be as fast on the flanks on the defense, but you're definitely seeing the value of the Double Duelist here on the attack, at least from the pistol round. They were very quick on just taking full control of front B site at the very beginning, taking control of Mound from both duelists, and then you don't allow Cubert Academy to go for the open door flank back from the B site. And it continues this way for the second round.
Oh. Mid check. Winthrop adapting well. Door open, no immediate sight lines into C. So Winthrop have no information, but hey, they'll be able to see if Cubert are going to peek them. So Winthrop can kind of just stand and react, look for pigs, but now the smoke's in place for Cubert. It's one site blocked off. They're still just both the breach and the open on the right side of the map. So not a lot of blinds available for Cubert to go when it comes to stopping Winthrop getting in. But I guess who cares when Tense is hitting headshots? Infiltrator, I guess, trades with double kills. So the advantage gone for Cubert. Now 1v1, that moves, wins, an important one. This puts the red carpet down for the A site.
I almost had a chance there. You're trying to count the bullets. On the side, I think it was Nismo trying to swing through and get in that pick. Or at least on Redux, and unfortunately, it is going to be a win for Moobs with the Spectre against the Pistols.
30 seconds left.
But yeah, we just walked into the crosshair for Tens, gets 2 easy kills, but just selfless plays to allow Infiltrator to move through and get 2 easy kills across because he just walked into the site.
T-Dog come through the staircase, and having to push through tree is not going to be too easy. And clear around the site, the back site. This is just going to feel really impossible, but we've seen 1v3 clutches from Knights. See if T-Dog can pull this off. So at the spike, maybe get their attention, get them into your crosshair, get them into your ballpark. T-Dog waits for the last second for them to exit, and Infiltrator gets the last laugh, and Winthrop are almost at double digits.
There's a chance there for Cubert Academy with the lore buy that they had to. They have full eco, rather, to even win that against Winthrop University. So the fact that they got 3 weapons down, that's a small little W in that column there for Cubert Academy. Again, 2 easy shots that you just saw here on this replay. Players getting caught off guard. Iowa's Knights here fighting against Moobs, and you're just hoping for him to win that one there.
Spike down, C.
if you want to stay in the game, at least for Cubert Academy, sooner than later. Now at least they have weapons to work with on the defense.
Oh, okay, Knights stabilizes. Infiltrator was just testing him. This is mostly a save hero Vandal from Nasi, and that'll be behind. But Sacrificial Lamb, Valley goes forward. Yeah, he's got thorns in his way. He's got a thorn in his side, and Cubert are all over them like butter on toast, and the spike's right in front of him, and that's just dessert. So Cubert be able to try and close the gap in the score.
Yeah, very nice. Winthrop University, I mean, they are bringing weapons into this one, but it is a bonus round that you have here for Winthrop. And that's why I feel like Cubert Academy allowed themselves to be a little bit more complacent at the beginning here. Getting fully stunned, but still getting killed while stunned is quite nice there for Knights. And Redux there for the save, and a flawless is perfect, at least into their gun round for Cubert Academy. And that said, though, you saw from the beginning of this round for Winthrop University, they're still doing the defaulting of working alley towards that front B site, working infiltrator towards the C mound. The only changes that happen are the other bodies around that supports or infiltrator or alley in front of those areas, just so they could manipulate these rotates a little bit better here for the side of Winthrop University. Now they finally have a gun round to play against if they want to continue with that same type of conditioning.
Last one was front B.
And Cubert was able to build themselves up a really nice win streak from winning the first rifle round of the first half, similarly to the second half first rifle round of Haven. So we're Cubert, they're not too far behind. Some good flashes, good thorns, Redux with the setup, but needs to back up Knights, who's just a one-man army. We don't need a man. Now he gets back to safety, and Winthrop have to figure out what's next. Oh God, moves. Is he gonna do it? 1v3, okay. 2 for 1's not bad. And now you just opened up B, you're going behind rubble, so the options are limitless for Winthrop, although don't got a lot of manpower. Just a 2v2.
And that's the beauty of, again, that conditioning they're doing and the default that they're currently playing. Ali was able to walk into the B site, get the backstep onto Tense, despite the good start that Cubert Academy had on that C site. So 2 players on both teams doing individual prowesses, starting off here on the side with Knights on a C mound, and then onto moves for Winthrop University. Now you have a 2v2, but the advantage is on the side of Winthrop because of the health and because of the time.
I just love what Ali was able to do this map. It's how much clearance he got through B, inching around through rubble. Now work together. He trades, and Flare finishes up the job, and Winthrop steps away from going to the semifinal.
And I was going to commend how Cubert Academy is also disrespecting this composition that Winthrop University is currently doing on that C mound, because you're not playing with any big flashes outside of the Omen. And you kind of want to keep the Omen flash into your sight hits if you can here on the side of the attack. So I love that Knights is leveraging just his aim to outduel his opponents. But man, Winthrop University also has a bunch of shooters that can just shoot as well. And of course, we're just going to have to keep waiting until we figure out if Cubert Academy can actually come back into this game. And at least now, Jen, you're seeing here that for Cubert, they kind of do want to do a similar thing as Winthrop has been doing, which is pulling out this Odin on T-Dog as a fade.
Infiltrator Overdrive, you see what he did last time with it? He's just a speed racer. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well. But when you got a Vice sitting on C at all times, it's not feeling too good because the Thorns aren't really at the front door. They're sort of at the back corner. So it's not fun. But I always have fun watching Infiltrator. We have an insane amount of talent when it comes to duelists and challengers. And it's amazing to see the clash between, well, Redux, who's fragging like a duelist, not on duelist. We'd love to see him on duelist. But, and what Infiltrator is able to do, it's been fun.
Yeah, 100%. And again, the path to pro here through Challengers has been quite nice, and you've already seen it from Sato at the beginning, but we'll hold that thought. Here's some action. Players are dying. Advantage Cubert.
Fell over, folded like a lawn chair. What the hell just happened? And this is the type of Winthrop get close to the finish line and Cubert start the comeback. That's what you gotta worry about. You just gotta close it out.
And if anything, if I'm looking at the X's, is the first kill came from Knights again towards that back of that C mound and wins that duel in the long range. So now it just comes to me that they don't really have an answer for Winthrop University to move into the C site anymore. So they tried to push towards A, but they haven't really been aggressive on that side before. And they just got met by the sprays, the Odin, the util coming out on that side and just shut them down.
All right. Infiltrator Overdrive did not... I hyped it up too much. That's my bad. But got a whole Hunter's Fury up Nasi's sleeve.
Yeah, and sorry, this is an eco round for Winthrop University. They shouldn't win this round, right? Oh, hold on. There's a showstopper first. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Thorns? Nope. Wow. Yeah, I guess, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Because showstoppers are just canceled like that. So 3 versus 3 on a couple players on Winthrop having classics. Wait a minute. Okay, neural theft from Moves. This is possible.
No.
Knights in the picture, but Moves is painting a different ending to this for Winthrop with the spike planted. And Knights at least with the paranoia, but okay. Moves down for the count. Knight's position revealed. I see an infiltrator watching both sides of their fortress.
I like this.
You just want
3
Knights
pistols
to
and
save
2.
here? Is
3
it possible?
pistols? I mean, no, he's going to go for it. He has to. He's been feeling it so far on the defensive side. Yeah. I mean, a rifle, a stinger, and 3 pistols. And Winthrop University was able to close that one out. It made me just forget what the hell I was trying to talk about just before that. Winthrop University just leaving me speechless.
Got the ritual circle of whatever curses we're putting out. Yeah, you know, don't give them the thrifty. Fight for it.
Yeah.
And what are we looking at? It's like a fly on the wall. Like, what was that? Squirrel. Showstopper doesn't get to go off. But man, was it intimidating. It was intimidating running into the side like that.
Yeah. And I think it was just Cubert giving him so much space. But speaking of space, they want to fight back here for Rumble Control again.
Denial of the weapons, the owl drone, just to see the corpses left behind of Winthrop. Will lose the war for Rubble once again. This Prowler won't get deep enough for Cubert. And now all rests on Knights with the Stinger, who's just not going to take the risk of getting his one. He'd rather be one with his team, and that means a plant for Winthrop.
Planted.
It's a silver lining, but we've seen scenarios here where Knights was able to clutch up a 1 versus 3 before, so player disadvantage could still be doable here for Winthrop University in this 3 versus 5.
Nightfall versus Hunter's Fury as Nasi hopes to keep the forces of Cubert at bay. And now it's a brawl within the site. And just Nasi left. So many injuries, hemorrhages. A hospital that Cubert won't be able to access yet. And a peak. Unfortunate stops the defuse, but thankfully Knights is still there to end the day for Cubert Academy. And
We're good.
I know, but 0.9, I get scared. I'm just building tension.
I would have been scared. I would have been scared if Nasi somehow still survived when he jumped off like a fadeaway shock dart and doesn't get spammed down by Knights. But yes, it was a scenario where a 3 versus 5 looked like it was going to be doable because of that scenario of these guys just shooting back on the side of Winthrop University. This is insane and intense how much Cubert has to fight for these dubs.
It's scary. Haven looks close only because Cubert came back 3-11. Infiltrator first blood against the king. And it's Winthrop will pick up the spike and feel inspired. But also look at what Ali is clearing. He likes to explore around B, finds the vice wall, which means, hey, this sentinel may not be around C, or at the very least the wall isn't. And they've been able to read that Knights has been the solo holder of C, and he plays more passive. Cubert wants to really flank. Now the vice wall has been triggered for B. What's next for Winthrop?
That was the thing. If it wasn't triggered yet and they were trying to execute in that Rolling Thunder could have done some good damage for Nismo. But now they have a chance to work the map again. 1 Prowler. What a fate coming through.
Cover going out.
Forces out the Rolling Thunder, but C-Site's open.
Yeah, the Rolling Thunder gets you a guarantee on Nasi, but Winthrop have evicted the rest of Cubert. They want to set themselves up for a match point, but I need this round to end before I really feel like there's going to be a winner. You just
I'm not going to
never
say
know.
anything. This is all you.
Challengers fumble. Okay, T-Dog 1 versus 2. Just another day at the office, right? It's a familiar scenario for him. This time won't be able to tap the spike. He has to walk past the smoke and have to have his crosshair immediately up. You don't know if someone's at the left corner. Try and draw fire towards him as Flare can have the smokes back up, and T-Dog is gonna fight for this tooth and nail. And he's revealed, come at me, bro. Flare did just that. 12-8, 1 round away from the semifinal.
And that's the beauty of Winthrop University continuously playing these type of defaults that they're running the 2C mount, 2B, the passive A. So keeping plays inserted on that right side, getting hit by the Prowler, initiated, engaged the Rolling Thunder from Nismo. They went for the Hail Mary on that side, and they just threw that into the darkness. But it should have been maybe understood here when the wall was already procced on the top of the B site that there wasn't going to be that many players back towards that A cave in the beginning. And that, again, you see what happens towards the end. There's 3 players versus 1 on that C site. They play a perfect pulse plan. Even that 2 versus 1 util was beautiful coming out there from both. I think it was the Omen and the Cypher on the side of Winthrop University that didn't allow here T-Dot to get any value on that retake, on that attempt of a clutch. And now Winthrop University are at map and series point. I don't know, though, Lemon Kiwi, that I would necessarily call this an upset. I guess we should, since we all voted for Cubert, right? Except for Ash.
Ash is a knower for sure. And Winthrop have just been criminally underrated for so long. The desk, and even you, I think, pointed out that they're a dark horse. And Winthrop have only grown. They finished 3rd place, for God's sake, last stage, and we're still underrating them, you know? So Winthrop definitely are going to get a lot of respect, I think, with even more eyes on them today. And this is a different Cubert Academy. Can't deny the sort of changes that have been happening role-wise. I mean, even Redux, I thought, did a great job on the Duelists last time, and it's first blood for Winthrop, and a save for Cubert.
No.
Not ideal to be playing Stingers at range against Nasi and his Vandal, and what he's been able to be for this team, which is impactful. And he's not even done his tear. 10 has to pick up the pace and laser him down. Had to put down the gun to put down Nasi. It's another C hit. And the thorns from Cubert were not enough. Winthrop 4 versus 2. Semifinals ready. Knights on his way. What is he cooking? Oh, he can't go on the flank. That's denied by Infiltrator. Winthrop base is loaded. Base is covered. Looking for a home run. And it's Tens and Knights. These together. Put the crack in the smoke. Exploited. Flare ignites. And Winthrop to the semifinal.
Winthrop University with a clean series over Cubert Academy. Not expected by a lot of players or a lot of fans, including myself. But man, do they look like a real Challengers team in this